Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel Trading Secrets. This channel is for entertainment purposes only. For those of you who do not know, my name is Ali. I have over 20 years experience teaching accounting, economics, business and law. Through this channel I'll be providing some stock analysis and a quick update on the $1 Million Challenge. So if anybody's not aware of this, this is a journey of an investment of $1,000 to a return of $1 million over a period of 3 years using a strategy called compound return investing. So the objective is try to get 201 trades, each with an average return of 3.5%. It's not 201 consecutive trades, we do take into account losses. So for further details about how to join us for less than $9 a month, information is available in the description below. In the previous video, we looked at MMTLP and the focus was on class action. So if you look at the screen here, we talked about the 9 current actions that we are currently working on together as a team. And the other one, number 10, is something that we are not currently focusing on. But long term, if we don't get what we are happy with, then that is something that will be a significant threat to them. So please refer back to the previous video for details of that. In today's video, we're going to be looking at new exposure for MMTLP. And we have been getting significant exposure from prominent people out there in social media. So we'll have a look at that as well shortly. So before we do that, let's have a look at what's happening in the market. So good news with regard to Tesla. So you could say the expectation was a little bit higher, but in terms of production, the year on year is up for 47.2%. Deliveries is also up 40.33% for Tesla. So this is bearing in mind the difficult year. This is incredible growth. I know it may have been considered as a slight miss, but overall I think still not too bad figures. And the other thing I'd like to share with you here is in terms of what's happening in other news. We've had declaration from Sam Bankman-Fried, and he is now pleading not guilty to everything that he has been alleged with. First thing I want to update you is with regard to some positive exposure that we had for MMTLP today earlier in one of the space chats. So go ahead and check the space chat recording from earlier today. So shout out here to David Lauer, who did attend. There was a little bit of misunderstanding on a significant amount of information with regard to MMTLP, but that's not really a surprise. But let's have a look at his profile here. He's an advocate for fair markets and he's passionate about science. The other thing is this is a person who speaks to people in authority. He's knowledgeable about the SEC, the markets, and he also is potentially got the ear of Gary Gensler. We can see in his pinned tweet here that he has interacted with him. So let's have a look at a summary of what we talked about. So Gary did agree that the shorts were trapped, and and that the shorts should not have gone into a private company, but unfortunately we are in a situation where the shorts have not yet covered. So that was something obviously he was a little bit confused about in terms of why that happened. The other question that he raised is why did the shorts not cover earlier, and he doesn't believe that they would have covered on the last 2 trading days. So that is true, the shorts didn't cover, and that is a question that we would like to ask. They didn't cover earlier, they didn't cover on the last trading day, so obviously something is there that needs to be investigated. And obviously he also stated here that he believes with regard to the T+2 there was a query in terms of the dates, so I don't think he fully understands the dates. The last trading day should have been the 12th, but he believes the last trading day was the 8th. So I think in conclusion, I think there is an agreement for him and John Berder to have a catch-up, and there may also be opportunity for everyone to participate in a 60-minute discussion on a space chat, so stay tuned for details of that. And the other exposure we got was with Matt Cause. He's a prominent YouTuber, so this is just a post that he shared just a few minutes ago, and he stated here he appreciates the MMTLP sharing their insights, and here are the things that some regulatory bodies need to answer in his opinion. So I think he's new to the situation as well, and is now gathering information in terms of finding out exactly what is going on. So the 3 questions he's raised here: how can market makers sponsor security without company approval? Question number 1. Number 2, why wasn't the threshold list flag addressed? Number 3, why wasn't the date of record and final trading day the exact same? So these are questions that obviously we would also like the answer to as well. So obviously I think he's quite surprised. So let's have a look at, give a shout out here to Sean Thomas, who stated the market maker sponsored the security by forging John Berder's signature. I think he spelled John Berder wrong. And Matt has followed on by saying, is that true, tagging in John Berder. So there's an interview we know that was with Charles Payne tagged in. And the other good news that we have here is John has responded, and John has stated, not exactly we know who signed the 211 to get the MMTLP to trade on the OTC markets. However, we do know that it was all the information given to the OTC markets was fraudulent, false, and from 2012. I've tried to get the OTC to take it down, and they said that FINRA approved it and he has receipts. So this is staggering. This is obviously very, very important, and this is something that I think is going to represent something that we will use later on. And he's also stated, thanks for the response. And one other thing I'd like to summarize in terms of the Twitter space that we were talking about, one thing that was also stated is the threat of a class action, bearing in mind this evidence would terrify them and would also something they would prefer to avoid. But again, that was something that discussed in a previous video, but just the threat of a class action, as stated in the chat, is enough to get them to negotiate as well. The other development with regard to the market maker who is allegedly behind the creation of MMTLP has been shared in a tweet that I earlier posted today, and let's have a look at the tweet. And what I stated here, after carrying out some research, is that Ari Rubenstein and the New York Stock Exchange and FINRA have a history. So Ari Rubenstein and his company were fined $9,000 for entering orders and failing to indicate that it was acting in a principal capacity for these orders. And certainly that sounds like a history of deception. So there was a sanction of $9,000 for this, so it's not something that is hearsay. This was obviously something that was led to a conviction. But one name I'd like you to have a look at the bottom, the hearing officer Kenneth B. Weiner. So following on from a tweet, I'd like to give a shout out here to K. Kep, who's had a look at the tweet, and he stated here on his post, looking at Ari Rubenstein and Kenneth Weiner relationship and potential conflict of interest in the impartial hearings officer. So I was surprised about this very, very small amount of fine. So special thanks to K. Kep for doing a little bit of digging, and he stated here we've got Ari Rubenstein's name there, Mildred Weiner's name there, shared in some congregations. So we can also see here on another website, radaris.com, we have Mildred Weiner again, who shared information from the public record. So it certainly seems to be a trail here. And then finally, shout out here to K. Kep, and he stated here, what remedy did FINRA request? Did they know something greater? Who is the hearing officer Kenneth D. Weiner? We've just seen that. Did FINRA continue to use Ari Rubenstein on the advisory board? Yes, they did. We know that, and he still states on that on his profile. So FINRA seems to be facilitating the trading of MMTLP after the date of Ari's direction. So this is starting to look obviously a little bit tricky for FINRA, especially, also for Ari and also for GTS. So finally, shout out to DJDS at the bottom. If Ari is involved, it looks like a pattern of corruption with potential RICO charges ahead. There must be more than one bad actor involved here. Certainly agree with that. The next thing I'd like to share with you is the top 10 mid-cap, large cap and medium cap stocks for 2023, and these are going to be based on 75% plus buy or equivalent rating. So let's start by having a look at the top 10 large cap. So if we have a look at here, you see the buy ratings on the second column from the right. Each one of them is 75% or above. So let's have a look at the top 10 chosen stocks for the large cap. So we have EQT, so that's in the field of oil and gas. CLT T is in pharmaceuticals. currently trading at $45.50. We have Amazon, that's expected to make a good comeback. GPN, Global Payments Incorporated, that's coming in at number 4. Signature Bank, SBNY, coming in at number 5. That's got a buy rating of 78%. Salesforce CRM, that's got 80%. And the interesting one here is ticker symbol BIO, Biorad Laboratories Incorporated. And if you look at the buy rating there, that is 100%. So certainly potential there in that one. Next one, ZTS, that's in the field of pharmaceuticals, 87%. DAL, hopefully 2023 is a good year for airlines, and that's for Delta Airlines. And the last one, I think this one is I'd like everyone to pay attention to, FANG, Diamondback Energy. I expect this one to have an exceptionally good year. Although it's got an 84% buy rating, I think this one is also associated with Exxon, XOM, so one to keep an eye on, Diamondback Energy. So let's now have a look at the top 10 mid-cap stocks with a high buy rating. So at number 1 we have there ARWR, Biotechnology, Arrowhead Pharmaceuticals, and that one has got a buy rating of 83%. Currently down 52% on the year, so good chance to making a comeback. LNTH, Medical Specialities, that's got a 100% buy rating, so certainly one to keep an eye out. PGNY, also 100% buy rating, so that one is also an interesting one. COHR, that's in electronics. EXEL, that's in biotech. DAR in the food industry. PRGO, number 8, MAT, recreational products. ACIW is in software. MODG, number 10, also recreational products. So the last one we're going to look at is for the small cap stock. So this one is the one that could potentially be the highest risk and the highest reward. So let's have a look at the top 10 so for small cap. So QURE comes in at number 1, 95% buy rating. So ticker symbol QURE, that's in biotech. We have CARA, Cara Therapeutics. Again, that's a stock that we have been keeping an eye on. Also 88% buy rating. VIR, also biotech. Number 4 and number 3, DVAX, number 4, also biotech. So the top 4 we have in biotech. THRY, advertising, that's got a 100% buy rating. AORT, medical supplies. CYTK, pharmaceuticals. HSC, environmental services, that's got a 100% buy rating. LGND, pharmaceuticals. And finally CORT, pharmaceuticals, with an 80% buy rating. And finally, I'd like to share with you a review of our weekly watch list from the previous week's trading, which was the last week of trading for 2022. So on the screen here, you'll see that not all calls are successful, but we did have a good week. We called out stocks XPON, that was up 28% Wednesday, and also up 3% on the week. MTR we called, that was up 9% on the week. KAL, we called, that was up 30% Wednesday to Thursday, so good opportunity to take profits because after that it was down. ARDX, I know a number of people did well in that one, that was up 22% on the week. We also called out TGTX, that was up 44% on the week. ORIC, we called out 24% up, 24.8% up on the week. HTGM, that was up over 57%. Tuesday closed up 10% on the week also as well. IMRN, that was up over 46% Tuesday and also up 12.4% on the week. 3 stocks that didn't go as well as expected. APRN, that was down 11% on the week. BIEI, down 12% on the week. ACER, down 30% on the week. And the best call that we had in the week was KALA, that was up in excess of 950% on the week, and that was called out each day in our daily stock alerts. So to get the next weekly watch list and the daily stock alerts, you can certainly join us for less than $9 a month. Thank you very much for watching. Please stay tuned.